Alright, so what's the agenda for today? One, I need to get my car washed because it's absolutely filthy right now. And the next would be, we'll talk about the PlayStation 5 while I'm actually getting my car washed. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that or not, but I'm gonna try, is what I can tell you. It's windy, it's cold, and my car is running, so my car is the better environment for that, I guess. Let's get this. So what to talk about the PlayStation 5? Other than the fact that it's very, very fast, because that's the first thing I noticed, because I feel like that's something that I really needed over the PlayStation 4 that I already had. The boot times, the load times, because one, I cannot exactly check the graphical enhancements as of yet, because I don't have the hardware good enough to test all of that. So as for the load times and the startup times, the thumbnail for the previous video that I took that you might have watched, it was very hard for me to take because the console only lights up blue, as far as I can tell, when you're actually booting it up, when it's under the process of booting up. And then it starts lighting up white. So I had to make sure that I got the thumbnail while it was actually booting up. It was very hard for me to get it because one, it was a 50mm prime lens that I used to get the thumbnail, and I had to turn it on directly from the console itself because I had to position the controller in such a way that it leaned on the console itself so that it doesn't fall off and all of that jazz. So I turned it on, ran back, positioned my camera in such a way that the console and the controller were actually centered so that I could get a good enough shot for the thumbnail. At least I was able to do that, but at the same time I was really impressed by how quick that blue light goes away, and that's absolutely crazy for me. And only few games I played on the PlayStation 5 as of yet is Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2018 Remastered, and Astro's Playroom. On the Spider-Man games, I must say, I couldn't tell much of a difference. Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing, ray tracing. That's something I hadn't exactly taken account of or noticed before when I was actually playing the game, but later on I realized that the reflections were quite precise as compared to them being very ish. So that's something that I really liked on that. On Astro's Playroom, I could tell the difference in the triggers, like the adaptive triggers is what I'm talking about on the controller right now. That they, they work for sure, and flawlessly, I must add. But they don't work as seamlessly or cohesively, I don't know which word should I choose for this, when it comes to playing one of the Spider-Man games. I was not enveloped in the content. I was not indulged in it. It didn't feel like I was in the game. And Astro's Playroom really demonstrated that quite well. Which is fair because it is aimed to be a demo for the PlayStation 5 console, so I get it, like it's taken all the advantage of every single little sensor and engine placed inside the PlayStation 5 and the controller itself. Completely fair. But again, if the developers had enough time to play around with it, I think they could have nailed down the physics, and based on that, they would have implemented them in the controller or in the experience, if you will. I've yet to play the Uncharted game, the remastered one on the PlayStation 5. I wish to, but I haven't gotten the chance to play it yet. now for somewhat the interesting portion. What do you say I go and get me a matte black controller for the new console? Alright, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a good day then.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you.
Alright, so now off to home we go. So, well, you know what? Now being on the topic of all PlayStation related things, I just watched the Uncharted movie last night. And I gotta say, it wasn't exactly as I had expected it to be. I mean, like, I've been seeing a lot of mediocre to borderline negative reviews of that movie online. And I didn't really think it was that bad. My perspective on it, obviously. It was nice to see one of the actual characters from the game. Nolan North had a cameo in the movie. He's the one who played Nathan Drake, who was the protagonist for most of the Uncharted series of game. And they made a lot of storyline changes, which I feel like I'm not exactly comfortable with. They could have kept it a little more related to the game so that, you know, it felt like it is just a proper iteration of the game into live action film. That's that. And we got him.